Good morning. Like to, before I introduce the committee, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and call the executive committee meeting Tuesday, November 26, 2019 to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Lear?
Present.
Mr. Washington?
Present.
Mr. Legess? Mr. Hess?
Present.
Mr. Tholen? Mr. Byrne?
Present.
Ms. Weber?
Present.
Mr. Payton?
Present.
Mr. Kinzinger?
Present.
Ms. Haas?
Present.
Mr. Featherling?
Present.
Mr. Miller?
Present.
Mr. Seroy?
Present.
Mr. Wheeler? We have a quorum.
We have no presentations this morning. Can I get a motion to approve the October 22nd minutes? Motion by Mr. Payton, second by Mr. Byrne. And that's a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. It moves us on to legislative report. Mr. Steve Lear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hold on,
I'm
Mr.
number-
Lear. Thank you.
Number 12. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A week ago Monday, I attended the UCCI meeting in Springfield that had a presentation from the national organization that we're now part of through UCCI, the National Association of Counties. Got a very good update in terms of some of the benefits that we can receive through that. I won't try to go through all of them, but a couple of the things, there's a program that can be put on a phone that helps with identifying areas that have low or no connectivity to broadband infrastructure. I'm going to pass that on to any of the board members that would like to see that. Also, there's a program that they have that deals with helping those who are in county jails that have mental health issues. And I'll be passing that on to people in the sheriff's office. There is a newsletter that comes out that you can get a free subscription to if anyone wants to check with me on that. I've got a paper copy of the PowerPoint listing these different benefits of the association, and someone would like to see the paper copy, that's available to them also. In terms of legislation in Illinois, the biggest thing is you should be getting shortly a email from UCCI that explains and clarifies whatever corrections in the marijuana bill were passed in the veto session, because the bill was put together and it was very lengthy, so there were a lot of what were going to be called technical corrections. The prediction at the meeting I was at is there wouldn't be any major substantive changes, but it'd be more technical corrections. I think that's the major legislative item in terms of Illinois. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Mr. Lear? Question? Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Next up is Health Department, Mr. Beavis. And I see he was supposed to bring Mr. Keith Wanowski. I don't see Mr. Keith here today. I would recognize him if he walked in the room. St. Anne, hometown St. Anne boy, you know. Okay, we have here a proposal to change the correction time on a priority violation of the Food Service Sanitation Code from 24 hours to 72 hours.
And then a follow-up inspection would be conducted within, the current language is 1 working day, and we want to change that to the 3 working days. Oh, I'm sorry.
So redo that. I didn't
So
have you live.
this is last month when I presented the food fee increase change, I had omitted accidentally then the second change that we wanted to make, and it was to section 2252, same corrections for violations for priority items. And this is under the new changes to the FDA food code, what we used to call major items, so a temperature violation, sewer, breaking a sewer line or something like that. Things that are prominently going to lead to a foodborne illness, they have to be corrected quicker than, say, a dirty floor, a dirty wall, a light bulb, or something like that. So the language that we had put in there last year said that the priority items needed to be corrected within 24 hours or 72 hours for follow-up inspections for 3 days, or for 1 working day, I'm sorry. So 24 hours, immediate correction, and then a follow-up inspection would be conducted within 1 working day. That's a little bit difficult for some facilities to do. Sometimes they have to order parts, and so it's going to take a little bit of time. When it's a Friday or a holiday, you know, there's a number of days in there then that we're not working the next day. And so we feel that the intent of the code can be met, allow the restaurants a little more flexibility for the corrections, and then gives us the flexibility of coming back in a few days instead of immediately. So that's what we're asking for the changes for.
Can I have a motion? Mr. Washington, and with Mr. Byrne a second. Now, do we have any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. There you go, 72 hours now to get it fixed.
Thank you. That's all I had then, unless anyone has any questions about the weather. Thank you.
Thank you. Information services, Mr. Duvall, I unfortunately skipped over. He said he didn't have anything today, but if he'd like to come up, if anybody has any questions for Kevin, Mr. Featherling.
I have a question for the health department. Is that go back to the county board on Tuesday, next Tuesday's meeting has to be changed?
It will be on the agenda for our full board meeting to be approved by the whole county board. Yes, sir.
So it's posted somewhere then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Duvall?
I'm sorry about the confusion there.
That's all right.
Because I brought that to you and I forgot we have a new board member out there. What I didn't want to do, I had talked to the chairman and said that, well, it's really going to tell you the same thing as last month. We're doing the updates. We're nearing the year end, so we're about done with all the replacement computers, and there's no sense for me to tell you that 12 times. But then I thought we have a new board member. I probably should update him on that. Our project for the last year and a half was to upgrade all of the machines in the county's network, including the courts. Because of security issues, Microsoft no longer will put out security patches for Windows 7 past January. So we started about a year and a half, 2 years ago, replacing all the machines. As you can imagine, that's a very time-consuming and costly project. We're about completed with that. We have all the machines upgraded in this machine now in this building, and most of them in the courthouse. We're continuing after the night meeting to finish up with the circuit clerk's office. That's the largest office that we deal with. We hope to we will have them done before the year end, and the last one will be the public defenders. I've made plan for them to be upgraded. They will have refurbished machines since they don't have the funds, although this board has approved them to have a computer fund, but because it was just new to this year, there's virtually no money on it. Well, we have to have them upgraded. Luckily, some of the machines that we came back in some of the offices were much newer than what they currently have. So we're going to upgrade those to make them in compliance with what they need to have. It'll be far superior to what they have. And then hopefully going forward, the funds that you as a board approve for them to have for computer fund, and we'll replace that going forward. But that'll take several years. They're a smaller department, so it won't be ridiculous amount, but it will be something. Currently, just a quick overview of how we manage their department. computer wise is they're the only department that we deal with that there's more employees than there are computers or offices. Everybody else, and now that's not saying they have a lot of people, it's just how it was structured for the last time they did it. They had part-time people. So in every other office, if there's an employee, there's a computer and there's a desk. For their office, I think there were 19 or 20 people, of which 8 of them may have been part-time. Well, those 8 people shared one computer. I believe what you guys are doing now going forward is, with Ed being there, is you're slowly switching them over to full-time as the part-times go away. I mean, I have that completely clear, but the one issue that'll be different from them is they never had enough computers to be 1-for-1 as it is. So each time you make somebody full-time, even though you're lessening the staff, it's actually more computers you need to have at that point. It shouldn't cost you virtually anything, because we're basically still going to try to take machines that we got back in, upgrade them to make sure they meet the security measures, and give that to them so they will have something. So it should accomplish everything you need. We'll have computers that we need to do. They'll have the software need to go, and I believe you'll be able to control the budget, or I don't know why. The reason is because you'll ultimately have less people, but less people doing more work. Because I believe Ed said that he thought that they could do more work by having a full-time employee as opposed to part-time people. I didn't get involved in that part. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed what we've been doing this next year, and then this current year, and then next year, fiscal year, we will be handling some of the servers and doing the regular maintenance that we do. So that was more for you than everybody else kind of heard that.
Great, I appreciate that.
All right.
Good work.
Any other questions for Mr. Duval? Thanks, Kevin. Okay, now we're down to schools. Dr. Greg Murphy. I think his report is online. We don't need to, okay. All right, next up is the VAC, Karen Smitansky. Did I get it right the second time? All right. Motion to accept her monthly report for September and October. Mr. Payton and Mr. Featherling with a second. Yes, sir, Mr. Hess.
I only have September in my packet.
Okay.
They're kind of combined. If you
Well, it says as of September 30th.
you're correct on that.
Okay.
So
It is only September on this. We did September. We do October tonight at our meeting. Sorry.
Okay.
So that is correct.
okay, so can I amend the motion to just accept the September? Is that fine with Mr. Featherling and, okay, yes, Mr. Payton. Thank you. Okay, so I'll let you talk about your report first and then we'll vote on it.
Sure. I just had a couple things. One, today we are giving our Thanksgiving baskets away downstairs. They were donated from the Fafford Freedom Riders, and they are doing 14 Thanksgiving baskets for needy veterans and families. And then we also have 4 that are picking up gift cards. They're $50 gift cards that we give away. So we have a total of 18 that we're working with currently. On the second page, you'll see it's a lottery ticket, and I just want to point this out. And the reason being is that you'll find these in the stores now, and 100% of the sales of this goes to veterans. So we can apply for grants through the state of Illinois and receive help. So our plan is to either this term or the second quarter that they do, apply for a dental, hearing aid, and glasses grant through the state of Illinois to help the veterans, because it's the one thing that the VA doesn't do. If you aren't service connected for dental, you don't get dental help. So we're hoping that we can get that. We used to get it a lot. When I first started even, we were getting them. Our highest one we ever had was $60,000, and we spent it in a year with no problem. So we haven't gotten one since 2000 and I'm gonna say 15, but hopefully we'll have that back on our books for the 2020 at some point in time.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you for all our viewers at home. It says, the lottery ticket says white ice on there. It's a $2 ticket. It went up to $20,000 and went up to 10 times. So that's the veterans lottery ticket for all of you who are watching at home. That we would appreciate if you're going to buy lottery tickets, please purchase this one.
Yep,
There's a little
it's-
commercial for you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. You did very good. Would you like to do that again? But yeah, it is a really a great deal that we can do. The the last time that they passed them out, they gave 80,000 to a VAC up in, I think, wasn't DeKalb, but in Northern County anyway. So we're gonna shoot for the stars with it. So other than that, I would like to point out that Charlie Company is gone right now, and we are collecting goods for Charlie Company out of our National Guard unit just south of town. This Saturday at Steam Hollow Brewery in Mantino, we will be putting together 68 packages for each of the individuals, and then some group packages of some things that everybody will be able to use, like the workout products and shakers and tobacco products, that sort of thing. So we expect to ship about 75 total packages. That is through Project Headspace and Timing. I sit on the board with them, one of the nonprofits that I sit on, and probably several of you have seen different articles on Eric Peterson lately in the paper. He has actually gone nationwide now. I think Mr. Dykstra had that in the paper last night, that it's going nation. So it's a great thing to be a part of.
So what kind of things would Charlie Company, if for those that are at home that would maybe want to donate some things
we have
to our troops, what's the I seen the list in the elevator, but
Yep.
if you would like to go over that.
So I hear baby wipes are actually one of the most important things they like, because they don't always get showers, so baby wipes are big. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, feminine hygiene products for those females over there that, they only get, their commissary actually comes in a truck around about once a month out in the middle of the desert. So if they run out of something, they're out of it until it comes around again. So that's why we send a lot of the personal hygiene type products. And then workout things. The guys like to work out in their downtime, so we do a lot. They're buying 10-pound bags of protein. So they're getting some of that stuff together. And we do have a donation from Buddy Check 22, which is another non-for-profit around the area, and they are going to pay for all the shipping for us.
Awesome.
So
Okay, I had a motion and a second for a report for September, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Karen.
thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving to you. Next on the agenda is the County Administrator's Report. Miss Anita Speakman. Speckman. I butchered the last name. I might as well keep going, huh?
It's not the worst thing I've been called. Okay, so the staffing report first. It's been a very, very quiet month. So other than the two resignations from the county board and then additions to the county board, really there's just one termination out of highway, and down in corrections, if you look there, there's a -1 part-time and +1 full-time. That is a part-time corrections officer that went to full-time clerical position. And then state's attorney is an addition in the civil division here in this building. Other than that, it's been it's the whole net of the activity is nothing. So we continue to sit right at 543 staff members at this point in time.
And open
Yes, it
enrollment.
is a lot.
Open
Yeah.
enrollment starts soon, right?
Yes, open enrollment starts December 1st. Thank you. Excellent lead in. The video, again, we're doing it remotely by video instead of going around and having, 20 meetings at various locations. We shot a video about 10 days ago that I just got before I came down here it back for the second time. I came back first on Friday, reviewed it with a couple changes, and that'll be ready to be posted tomorrow. So there's a video and enrollment guides. We do enrollment guides. There are enrollment guides from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Everything is posted on our county website. so that our employees, retirees, COBRA participants can all go remotely onto the county website under HR benefits. There's a video that walks them through the enrollment guide and the plans and their selections, and then supporting paperwork out there that they can look in more detail at how the plans, what's covered, what's not covered, et cetera, what the benefits are. So the video will post tomorrow. Even though all the supporting documents are already posted out there, they've been there about a week, right, Kelly? It was about a week ago we did that. And then the video will post tomorrow, but the actual window where our employees enroll, that happens from our web benefits software company, and because that's all software driven, that will open on December 1st, that they'll be able to go in and make their selections. So what's different this year is last year, all our benefits were the same. Our health insurance plans were the same as the prior year. So we had a passive enrollment. So in other words, if our employees were happy with their coverage, they didn't need to go in and do anything. If they by mistake did not go in, they had the same coverage. They by default opted into the same coverage they had in 2017. This year that won't happen because it's a different carrier, different plans. So all employees must go in and they must make their selections or waive. So it'll be a test.
Mr. Lear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. County board members, in terms of the one benefit of the life insurance policies, will they need to take action for that?
No.
Thank you.
I think the video is an awesome idea. You've been doing it for a couple of years, and with us sometimes having 3 shifts running at all hours of the night and one presenter that would have to go cover all those 3 shifts to make sure everybody is informed and answer the same questions and to try to catch every employee. I think the video is a great way to lead into open enrollment. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Actually, it works out. I've had really positive feedback, not too much negative, really. And the other thing that is really a benefit for our employees is because they can watch at home, they can sit with their spouse, and they and their spouse can watch the video together and look at the enrollment guide together, so that you don't have someone trying to take notes during a meeting and then take it home and not remember what was said. I did have last year, I had a group from one department. It was 5 guys. Well, we've watched this section 5 times and we're debating what it is you're telling us. So can you just clarify? So you're able to actually, if you don't understand, go back and re-listen to it again and again, and that's a good thing. Yeah. So I think it's worked out well, and I've had really, really favorable feedback. So
I think it's just been awesome. So
the one last thing, just mentioning now, it's just pretty preliminary at this point. I'm not sure how many board members remember that in 2017, we received it last year, we received an MLR rebate. That's under the Affordable Care Act. And what it is a medical loss ratio. So for 2017, United Healthcare did not spend 85% of the premiums in Illinois, it's a statewide calculation, on actual costs to pay claims, right? So that difference had to be prorated amongst all their customers in Illinois, and then we distributed it to our employees. Now we retained the county retained 75% because that's the percentage of the premium that we pay, and then 25% was distributed out. Last year, the amount to distribute to our employees was $1,626. So it was, it actually worked out after all the calculations to be like $5.39 for every employee that was on the plan in 2017 and still enrolled in 2018. There have been some findings from the Department of Labor that say you don't have to go find your ex-employees. If you distribute to all your current employees that were enrolled at that time, that's good enough. So that's what we did. And that's taxable income. But this year, it's a little bit more. The actual amount to distribute to our employees is $15,037. So about, not quite 10 times as much. So be a little bit better. I'm gonna have that done before in December sometime. That's on my list of things for December. So that will go out to employees. We'll do a separate check run for it because you don't want to have any benefits taken out or anything like that. So it's a lot of additional work for Joanne in payroll. Once I get the list finished, you have two options of how to distribute this. You can either distribute it out to the employees that way, or you can take it and apply it against your next year's premium amounts and reduce the amount your employees pay in the following year. Given that we've got 4 plans and about 6 different groups that pay 6 different rates, it would be challenging. This is easier for me, harder for Joanne. So we're doing option B. So, but we'll work through that in the next 20 days as well as fielding the open enrollment questions. So that's what we'll be spending our time on in December.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you, Anita.
Sure.
So next up is appointments and reappointments. I have an appointment of Matt Thafalt to fill the unexpired term for the Moments Fire Protection District. Appointment of Jackie Haas to the ICANN Joint Education Commission. Appointment of Mike Allegro to the Kankakee Valley Airport Authority. Appointment of Roger Blanchette to fill the unexpired term of the X-Line Creek Drainage District, and reappointment of Leslie Burton to the Kankakee River Conservancy District. I need a motion and a second to combine Mr. Byrne, Mr. Washington with a second. Yes, Mr. Lear?
I would wonder, has anyone had an opportunity to check on Mr. Allegro? I think he's eminently qualified for the position, but I'm not sure he lives within the airport authority.
I thought that would be vested through his application. Okay, I think the chairman had checked that out. I'm told the chairman has checked that out, and it's
okay, if that's been checked out, fine, but I'm
and then it got to Kelly's desk, and
really
so
unclear on that because the boundary lines that I'm familiar with would put him outside the authority.
we can I'm sure that's one of the qualifications to be in that airport district, because you do have to be in that boundary, because I've asked the same question, Mr. Lear, before about who can be on the Kankakee Valley Airport Authority, and you have to be within the airport district, so I'm sure that it was vested. Would have been, Mr. Wheeler might have vested it and threw it on Kelly's desk, so that's why it's here on the agenda. So if duly noted, if there's problems, we can come back to it.
Right.
So could I get a motion and a second? I did, didn't I? Yes. So a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Openings, one opening on the Mantino number 9 Drainage District, one opening on the X-Line Creek Drainage District, 2 openings on the Kankakee County Regional Planning Commission, and 1 opening on the Kankakee County Historic Preservation Commission, and it needs to be an architect. So if you know anyone that are qualified for any of those, please have them submit their applications. I believe the applications are online. And Is there any new business, Mr. Byrne? Hold on one moment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman Wheeler is going to reach out and punch me from Japan on this one. I'd like to bring back next month, revisit the home baked ordinance. We've had it in Bradley now for going on a year. We've survived all mass casualty situations. So we haven't had mass illnesses. So I'd like to have the opportunity to maybe enable unincorporated residents of Kankakee County to enjoy the potential of owning a home baked business.
Bake business. The cupcake laws back in effect. We see if we can get that on executive committee agenda next.
See, and if we had dispensaries, it would have been perfect.
Don't tie the two together now. Nobody will want to buy the cupcakes.
Can't get baked, but you might as well bake some cupcakes.
Is there any other new business? Any other new business? Any old business? Any old business? And then other business, I guess, since there's no old business, is our energy aggregation program information. It's in your packet. This is where we've negotiated here it is on the back. We've negotiated a cost for energy throughout our county. This is an informational only, included in your packet, so any of your constituents have any questions on the negotiations. Oh, it's on the very last page. And this is done every year or every 2 years, I think, to where we negotiate this rate. So anybody that does not negotiate their own rate gets this rate. Otherwise, each individual person can negotiate their own rate with energy providers, I believe. Because I know they call my business many, many times, different companies. So, information. Any questions on that? Thank you. All right. And I would seek a motion to adjourn by Mr. Hess.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay. And could I get a second by Mr. Washington? All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.